All right, so the goal of this problem is to find the force of gravity between a satellite, so here's my satellite, and the Earth, okay? So this whole thing here is the Earth. And we want to find the force of gravity between them. In order to do that, we got to take F equals G, the mass of the Earth, the mass of the satellite. So I'm going to call this the mass of the Earth. It's big M, and this is the satellite, the mass of the little guy. And we got to divide it by the distance between their centers squared. Okay? Now, the problem is I only tell you how high the satellite is above the surface of the Earth. So I tell you that this is like 300 miles or something. Okay? You cannot use that in this problem. In this equation, the distance here in the denominator has to be the distance between their centers. So the first step in solving this problem is to find out how far the satellite is from the center of the Earth. Okay? So what we really want to know is, what is this distance right here? So that's what we're going to use in the equation. So part A of the question asks, what's the distance from the center of the Earth to the satellite? So to solve that, you've got to find the radius of the Earth. That's the distance from here to here. And then you've got to add it to the distance that the satellite is above the Earth. So in part A, convert your height to meters and simply add the height above the Earth to the radius of the Earth to figure out how far the centers are apart. That's part A. Once you do that, you can now use that radius in the equation with the mass of the Earth and the mass of the satellite to find the force between them. Okay? And then on part C, I ask, what if the satellite was on the Earth? So before it was launched, when it was being built, it was sitting on the Earth. What would the force of gravity be on it there? Well, you're going to do this again, except now the distance between their centers simply is the radius of the Earth. So in part C, you're going to recalculate it using the radius of the Earth. And then in part D, you're going to find out how much difference is there in the force between when it's here, the force is smaller because it's farther away, and here, the force is a little bit bigger because it's closer. Okay? So part D asks you to find the difference.